again. I hope you're having a good week so far, even though it's relatively new. Today we're going to be going through the chapter of Luke, working through the New Testament. Luke 6:22 says, "Blessed are you when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil, for the Son of Man's sake." Hello, Sanon Sanokix. How are you? Yeah, that's true. Men are going to hate you if you take on the name of Christ. They are going to separate you from their company, and they are going to reproach you and cast out your name as evil. Have you ever had that happen? You ever had that happen? I've often said, in the Trail of Blood, it said there are two kinds of people, the persecuted and the persecutors. And I've been each of those at times in my life. And it came to pass on the second Sabbath after the first that he went through the cornfields, and his disciples plucked the eat, rubbing them in their hands. And certain of the Pharisees said unto them, Why do ye that which is not lawful to do on the Sabbath day? And Jesus answered them, said, Have ye not read so much as this, that what David did when himself was a-hungered, and they which were with him, how he went into the house of God, and did take and eat the shewbread, and gave also them that were with him, which it is not lawful to eat, but for the priest alone? And he said unto them, that the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath. It came to pass also on another Sabbath that he entered into the synagogue and taught, and there was a man whose right hand was withered. And the scribes and Pharisees watched him whether he would heal on the Sabbath day, that they might find an accusation against him. But he knew their thoughts, and said to the man which had the withered hand, Rise up and stand forth in the midst. And he rose and stood forth. Then said Jesus unto him, I will ask you one thing, is it lawful on the Sabbath day to do good or to do evil, to save life or to destroy it? And looking around about them all, he said unto the man, Stretch forth thine hand. And he did so, and his hand was restored whole as the other. Their response was something else. They were filled with madness. Can you imagine that? They were filled with madness because Christ healed this man's hand. And they actually communed one with another what they might do to Jesus. And it came to pass in those days that he went out into a mountain to pray, and continued all night in prayer to God. And a lot of people have said, why would Christ have to pray at all? He was God. Well, it says he communed. It says he continued all night in prayer to God. That's what it said. So if he prayed, you don't think it's important that we pray? And it was day he called unto his disciples, and of them he chose 12, whom also he named apostles. Simon, whom he also named Peter, and Andrew his brother, James, and John, Philip, and Bartholomew, Matthew, and Thomas, James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon called Zelotes, and Judas the brother of James, and Judas Iscariot, which also was a traitor. And he came down with them and stood in the plain, and the company of the disciples, and great multitude of people out of all Judea and Jerusalem, and from the seacoast of Tyre and Sidon, which came to hear him to be healed of their diseases. And they were vexed with unclean spirits, and they were healed. And the whole multitude sought to touch him, for there went virtue out of him, and healed them all. And he lifted up his eyes on his disciples, and said, Blessed be ye poor, for yours is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed be ye that are hungry now, for ye shall be filled. Blessed are ye that weep now, for ye shall laugh. Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice ye that day, in that day, and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. For in like manner did their fathers unto the prophets. But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation. Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets. But I say unto you which hear, love your enemies, do good to them which hate you, bless them that curse you, pray for them which despitefully use you, and unto them that smiteth thee on the one cheek offer also the other, and him that taketh away thy cloak forbid not to take thy coat also. Give to every man that asketh of thee, and of him that taketh away thy goods ask them not again. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. For if you love them which love you, what thank have ye? For sinners also love those that love them. And if you do good to them which do good to you, what thank have ye? For sinners also do even the same. And if you lend to them of whom ye hope to receive, what thank have ye? For sinners also lend to sinners to receive as much again. But love your enemies, and do good and lend, hoping for nothing again, and your reward shall be great, and ye shall be the children of the highest, for he is kind unto the unthankful and to the evil. But be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful. Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. Given, it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down and shaken together, running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that ye meet withal, it shall be measured to you again. And he spake a parable unto them, Can the blind man lead the blind? Shall they not both fall into the ditch? The disciple is not above his master, but every one that is perfect shall be as his master. And why beholdest thou that the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but perceiveth not the beam that is in thine own eye? Either how canst thou say to thy brother, Brother, let me pull out the mote that is in thine eye, when thou thyself beholdest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, cast out first the beam of thine own eye, and then thou shalt see clearly to pull out the mote that is in thy brother's eye. For a good tree bringeth not forth corrupt fruit, neither doth a corrupt tree bringeth forth good fruit. But every tree is known by its own fruit. For of the thorns men do gather figs. For of the thorns men do not gather figs, nor of bramble bush gather they grapes. A good man out of a good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil. For of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh. And why call ye me Lord, and do not the things which I say? Whosoever cometh to me and heareth my sayings, and doeth them, I will show you to whom he is like. He is like a man which built a house, and digged deep, and laid the foundation on a rock. And when the flood rose, and the stream beat vehemently upon that house, it could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock. But he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that without a foundation built a house upon the earth, against which the stream did beat vehemently, and immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great. Well, Christ certainly made the rulers of that day very upset, because first of all, he was coming against their authority, and they were trying to come against his authority as the Son of God. And they were trying to condemn him for healing on the Sabbath. They were trying to condemn him for going and plucking the ears of corn on the Sabbath. And he basically turned everything around on him, didn't he? You know, here these people held the highest seats in the council and the synagogues, and he was blessing the poor. Here these people had all the power, and he was blessing those who were in sorrow and had great need. These people had no need of anything, and he was blessing those who were not rich. He gave woes unto those who were rich. He gave woes unto those that were false prophets like these people. And he also told them to love their enemies. And he also told them that they were hypocrites because they had beams in their own eye. Here they were trying to judge the Son of God for what he was doing, and look what they were doing to the people, taking advantage of the people. That's what's happening today. Many government entities are taking advantage of poor people, while the rich and the powerful and the elite are running over the top of the common folks. He says the disciple's not above his master, and he says that how can you call me Lord when you don't do what I tell you to do? And so he gives a lot of instruction here that just further infuriated these people. That's why they wanted to kill him, and eventually they did kill him. And so the lesson for us is that, if we try to take a stand for those things that are right, sometimes we're going to be retaliated against as well. But God knows all things. May the good Lord be with you today is my prayer. God bless.